Why is your wife in a locked conference room with my boss after midnight? The words hit me while I stood in the dim glow of the 27th floor hallway at our Midtown Manhattan office, staring at the reflection of myself in the glass wall. Music from the holiday party pulsed faintly behind me. Cheap jazz, forced laughter, clinking glasses. But out here, it was quiet. Too quiet. The man standing next to me, Daniel from accounting, someone I barely knew, had his hand on my shoulder like he was trying to stop me from stepping off a ledge. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was my wife. Don't come looking for me. I'm in a meeting. At 11:47 p.m. That's when Daniel leaned in closer and whispered something that would fracture my life in a way I didn't understand yet. If you open that door, he said, you can't unsee it. And I still reach for the handle. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. I met my wife, Lauren, 8 years ago in Chicago. Back then, she was different, warm, ambitious, magnetic. The kind of woman who made you feel like you were the only person in the room. We built everything together. Moved to New York. Bought a condo near West 72nd Street. She climbed fast at her firm, marketing executive by 32. I was steady, reliable, consulting job, long hours, but consistent. We were the power couple. Or at least, that's what people said. The cracks started small. Late nights that didn't quite add up. Texts she wouldn't open around me. Work trips that suddenly extended by a day, sometimes two. At first, I told myself it was stress. Her industry was brutal. Deadlines, clients, pressure. That's what I wanted to believe. But belief doesn't erase instinct. And mine had started screaming. The office holiday party was supposed to be a reset. Her company rented out an entire floor in a glass tower on Park Avenue. Open bar. Catered sushi. Everyone dressed like they were trying to impress someone. Lauren looked different that night. Not just beautiful, detached. She kissed me on the cheek when we arrived, not the lips. Introduced me to people like I was a colleague, not her husband. And then she disappeared. Just gone. No explanation. That's when Daniel approached me. Nervous. Hesitant. Like he'd been debating whether to say something. I know this isn't my place, he started. But you seem like a decent guy. That's when I realized something was wrong. He told me he'd seen Lauren and their boss, Richard Hale, slipping away together before. Not once. Multiple times. Late nights. Closed doors. Everyone notices, he said quietly. No one says anything. My chest tightened. Why are you telling me this? I asked. He looked at me like he'd been carrying something heavy for too long. Because my wife went through the same thing, he said. And I wish someone had told me sooner. I should have walked away. I should have confronted her later. But something inside me snapped into focus. I walked down the hallway, past empty cubicles, past glass offices reflecting a version of my life that suddenly felt fake. And there it was. Conference room C. Lights off. Door locked. But the blinds were slightly open. Just enough. I didn't need more than a second. Silhouettes. Close. Too close. Her laugh. Soft. Intimate. Not the one she used with me anymore. And his voice. Confident. Possessive. That's when the world went silent. No shouting. No dramatic confrontation. Just clarity. I stepped back. And walked away. She came home at 2:13 a.m. I was sitting in the dark living room. She didn't seem surprised to see me awake. Long night, she said casually, slipping off her heels. I watched her. Every movement. Every breath. Meeting run late? I asked. She didn't hesitate. Yeah. Big client pitch. Lie. Perfectly delivered. That's when I realized something else. She'd done this before. Not just the cheating. The lying. The performance. And she thought I'd never question it. The next morning, I didn't confront her. I made coffee. Kissed her goodbye. Played my role. But inside something had changed. I wasn't the loyal husband anymore. I was the observer. And I started collecting. First, her phone. Not by snooping blindly. By waiting. Patterns. She showered every morning at exactly 7:10 a.m. Phone always left on the nightstand. Face ID. But I knew her passcode. Anniversary date. Predictable. Inside, it was all there. Messages. Richard. Saved under a fake name. RH strategy. Conversations that went back months. Hotels in Midtown. Private dinners. Inside jokes I didn't understand. And one message that stayed with me. Him. Does he suspect anything? Her. He's not that observant. That line rewired something in my brain. I didn't explode. I evolved. Over the next 3 weeks, I built a case. Screenshots, call logs, receipts from our joint credit card, restaurants I'd never been to, hotel bookings. I even hired a private investigator. Expensive, worth every dollar. Photos, clear, undeniable. Them entering a hotel on Lexington. Them leaving the next morning. Together. But I didn't stop there. I dug into Richard. Married. 2 kids. Public figure in the company. Morality clause in his contract. That was important. Very important. Lauren started noticing something was off. You've been quiet, she said one night. I smiled. Just tired. She studied me. Trying to read me. For the first time in years, she couldn't. And that unsettled her. Good. The plan came together quietly. No drama. No confrontation. Just precision. Their company was hosting a quarterly leadership meeting. Big one. Executives. Board members. Investors. Lauren was presenting. Richard would be there. So would HR. And I made sure so would I. I emailed HR anonymously. Attached everything. Messages. Photos. Timeline. Subject line. Violation of executive conduct policy. Then I waited. The meeting started at 9 a.m. Glass conference room. 30th floor. I sat in the lobby downstairs. Watching. At 9:47 a.m., it began. Not loudly. No shouting. Just movement. HR entering the room. Lauren's presentation stopping mid-slide. Richard being asked to step outside. Confusion. Whispers. Then tension. Thick. Heavy. At 10:15 a.m., both of them were escorted out. Separately. That detail mattered. Lauren called me at 10:32. Panicked. I think someone's trying to set me up, she said, voice shaking. I let a beat pass. Is there something to set you up for? I asked calmly. Silence. Then, I need you to believe me. That's when I said it. I saw you that night. Everything stopped. Her breathing. Her words. Her control. The divorce was efficient. New York law doesn't play games with documented infidelity. My lawyer had everything. Assets divided. Condos sold. No alimony. That part hit her harder than anything. Not the betrayal. Not the exposure. The money. Richard was terminated within a week. Breach of conduct. Company made a quiet statement. Internally, everyone knew. Publicly, nothing. That's how those worlds work. Lauren tried to reach out months later. Apology. Regret. I made a mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was a series of choices. And I had simply responded. The last time I saw her was outside a courthouse in Lower Manhattan. She looked smaller. Not physically. Just diminished. Like the version of her I loved had been peeled away, leaving something unfamiliar. She tried to speak. I didn't stop. I moved out of the city a year later. Different life. Quieter. Cleaner. No illusions. Sometimes I think about that night. The hallway. The glass door. Daniel's voice. If you open that door, you can't unsee it. He was right. But he was also wrong. Because what I saw didn't destroy me. It revealed everything. And once you see the truth clearly, you stop being the man who gets betrayed. You become the man who ends it. Silently. Precisely. Completely. I never saw Daniel again. But he changed my life in ways he'll never understand. And Lauren? She didn't lose me that night. She lost the version of me that ever loved her. And that version is never coming back. The end.